Live from the Al Roker Television Studio, this is WTOP 10 News at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Cothran.
And I'm Shanna Fold. In tonight's top story, Daryl Mobley, 20 years old, was shot and killed outside of the Parkside apartment complex in Syracuse. He was rushed to the Upstate Hospital emergency room where he was pronounced dead. Mobley was found on the blood-stained sidewalk at 10:30 p.m. by police officers. Mobley's brother, Timari, 17, was also shot in the right abdomen, but luckily was able to be saved during surgery at Upstate.
Witnesses said they saw a man fleeing the scene into a nearby wooded area. The police searched the area but did not find the perpetrator. This is Syracuse's fourth homicide this year alone. Coming up, New York State hopes for extra dollars in Syracuse aid.
And Oswego mayor works to lift the alternate side parking restrictions. We will have more on these stories in just a minute, but first a quick check at the weather outside with meteorologist Ryan Farrell.
Thanks guys. Outside Campus Center right now it is pretty gusty, and it's funny, now that all the snow has melted you can see the leaves flying around out here that weren't picked up in the fall. But back to the weather. Tonight we're going to continue to stay warm. We're going to bottom out at 40 degrees, but the rain is going to start overnight. That's going to continue for tomorrow morning and afternoon, but as the day progresses that's going to move off to the east and we will be clearing out. More about that coming up in my full forecast, but for now, back to the news desk.
Thanks, Ryan. The New York State Assembly hopes to give Syracuse an extra $8 million in state money. As a response to Governor Cuomo's budget for the fiscal year, the Assembly increased aid and incentives for municipalities to $220 million, which would increase Syracuse's aid to $79.8 million. This would be the first increase to the AIM in over 5 years. Lawmakers believe that these increases can be paid for with expected revenues within the overall budget.
Tomorrow, March 12th at 12:01 a.m., alternate side parking restrictions will be lifted, thanks to Mayor Thomas W. Gillen. According to the Oswego City Code Section 25727, the parking ban can be lifted anytime before March 31st, provided that the weather looks promising, as it does with no snow in the near future. The mayor consulted with Oswego's DPW commissioner and the police chief before making the decision. Residents are still asked to keep fewer cars on the roads in case of unpredictable snow.
A new immigration reform group in Syracuse is pushing the community to support comprehensive reform. This group, called the Central New York Coalition for Immigration Reform, is advocating for a strong bipartisan immigration reform bill that improves the visa system, creates rules that are fairly enforced, and doesn't separate families. Although such reforms would normally give 11 million people citizenship, allowing them to work legally would contribute to the economy.
News companies in the central New York area are cutting back on print publications and laying off workers. The last dozen of penny savers were printed last week from the Scotsman Media Group of Syracuse. 60 employees were laid off, while 100 remain. Fulton Valley's News suffered similar layoffs. The Fulton office will remain open, while the Cortland and Auburn offices are closed. The Post-Standard now only prints 3 times weekly.
Tomorrow, SUNY Oswego will be hosting a sustainability speaker on campus.
Ian Dempling has more.
Because she was taking too long. Thank you, everybody. I'm Ian Demling here for WTOP 10 News, and I'm standing here outside of the campus center here at SUNY Oswego, where tomorrow night, this is Tuesday, March 12th, from 8 to 10 p.m. in room 132, that's the auditorium here in the campus center, Dr. David Spradling of University of Cincinnati will be holding a conference, which is part of the Sustainability Speaker Series here at SUNY Oswego. Now, Dr. Spradling has been teaching at the University of Cincinnati for 13 years now, and he has earned his PhD from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and he is taught at the New Jersey Institute of Technology before finally coming to Cincinnati in the year 2000. Now, his research has basically been focused on urban environmental history and the struggle to improve air quality. Now, current work concerns, he has been working with the Cuyahoga River, which is in Cleveland, Ohio, and he's been trying to work on maintaining the air quality in that area. A quick fact about Dr. Spradling, he has been commuting to work ever since he started working on foot instead of by car to class every single day. Now, just again a reminder, tomorrow night, March 12th, 8 to 10 p.m. in the Campus Center, room 132. That's it for us here. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Former Representative
Sorry about the technical difficulties. Former Representative Anne Marie Buerkle is going to have 2 public appearances over the next 2 weeks, notably after remaining publicly quiet for the past 2 months. She plans on having a gathering March 21st at the Sienna Restaurant in Camillus, as well as a panel this Friday at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Washington, D.C. Buerkle has mentioned that a 3rd campaign against Representative Dan Maffei is possible.
Director Shane Broadwell says the 2013 3rd Annual Tri-Oswego Triathlon is ready for June 15th. Athletes from all over the northeastern area of the U.S., as well as Canada, will be participating. The sprint level will have an 800-meter swim in Lake Ontario, a 15.4-mile bike ride along the lake and through SUNY Oswego, and a 5-kilometer run. The intermediate level will have a 1,500-meter swim, a 25.6-mile bike ride, and a 10-kilometer run. Proceeds will benefit youth development programs in Oswego. Good luck, athletes!
For all you Rudy's lovers, they will be opening for the season this upcoming Wednesday, March 13th. If you're looking to grab a nice meal by the lake, the town favorite will be open from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. from now on until they are open every day starting May 1st. Chow down.
The healthcare field is growing with opportunities in today's economy. Fields to consider are healthcare administration, veterinary medicine, medical and mental health careers, allied health careers, as well as a U.S. Army healthcare program. For more information on healthcare careers, visit the conference in room 132 auditorium in Campus Center tomorrow, March 12th, from 6 to 9 p.m. or call 312-2255.
Coming up after the break, if you like sugary drinks, a judge may have just helped you out.
And will this warm weather stick around? We'll have your full weather forecast after the break. Stay tuned with WTOP Top 10 News.
Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Last night, Lori Capricuzzi scored 2 goals on Aliyah Brianlove. And
Joe, get out. Adam, you're in.
Lori Korpakovsky scored 2 goals on Ilya Brizgalov. Got it!
Well, we did notice really good weather this weekend. Are we going to continue having that?
It depends on what kind of weather you really like. We got a nice taste of spring this weekend, but it's not going to stay for too long, unfortunately.
It's not.
I'm sorry, guys. So we're going to start out my forecast with a look at your weather headlines for this upcoming week. We're going to start out, if we can bring up that graphic, we're going to start out with some rain for tomorrow. Make sure you grab that umbrella as you're heading out in the morning. Unfortunately, we have some cold air making its way back into central New York, and this next one's really going to hurt some people out there. The snow is going to come back into the forecast. But for right now, as you're stepping outdoors, we're sitting at 52 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. We do have winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. Overnight, though, we're going to bottom out right around 40 degrees, so it's going to be an above average night. But as the night progresses, that rain is going to work its way into central New York. Now, here is a look at our current radar right now. It may look like there's a lot of rain around central New York, but the air at the surface is very dry. So you have this rain falling and it's actually evaporating before it reaches the ground. This is known as virga. So this rain isn't actually registering at the surface. This is where the next system is coming in from the west. Here's a look at it from the national view. A large low pressure system associated with a cold front pushing off to the east. In behind that, here's that snow that I mentioned that's going to make its way toward Oswego. So for Tuesday, that cold front is going to push through. That's when the showers are going to be in central New York tomorrow. In behind that, we're going to have plenty of cold Canadian air filtering down from there. Now, I'm going to time out the rain for you so you can get a handle on it. Overnight by 11 p.m., I think we're going to be clear. We might see some sprinkles earlier on this evening. As we go on throughout the night, that's when the rain is going to start to make its way on our doorstep. And by 8 a.m., as you're heading out to work, maybe getting an early jump on your class, that's when it's going to be heaviest. So if you're driving out to work tomorrow morning around 8 a.m., maybe take a little extra time. This rain might actually be moderate at times, so it might slow down traffic. But as the day progresses, that's going to push off to the east. In behind that, as I mentioned, this is a cold front, so we're going to have some colder air mixing in. So we might see a wet snowflake tomorrow afternoon. But building on later into the evening, your drive home from work should be clear, as that's all off to the east. So for Tuesday, we're going to start out in the lower 40s, but temperatures will be dropping throughout the day. That rain is going to be with us for the afternoon, but it eventually pushes off to the east. So we will be clear on Tuesday night. We're going to get down below the freezing mark after seeing all this warmth that we've had. Your class day forecast, you early risers, you're going to see the warmest part of the day, and we're gradually going to drop down through the mid-30s by late tomorrow. So here's a pretty interesting phenomenon that's occurring. There's a comet that will be seen from the U.S. with the naked eye. You won't need a telescope. So this is the forecast for Wednesday. Conditions are going to be poor over the northeast because of the cloud cover, but tomorrow night is actually going to be a better night for that with some mix of clouds later on. So as I mentioned, rain on Tuesday. We're going to drop down into the 20s by Thursday, but Friday we're going to be clear, 34 degrees as we're heading home for spring break. So thankfully all that precip will head out and we'll be clear on Friday.
I was just looking forward to breaking out my shorts and getting a nice little t-shirt and just...
Sorry, I have to give you this disappointing news.
That's fine. Thanks, Ryan. Turning to state news now, a judge has shot down New York City's planned limit on large sizes of sugary drinks today. This ban, approved by the City Board of Health in September, was set to take effect tomorrow in an attempt to improve New Yorkers' eating habits. If the ban was upheld, it would violate the separation of powers doctrine and would negatively affect sales of businesses, including movie theaters and beverage makers.
TSA Administrator John Pistol stands by his decision to allow small knives under 6 inches onto airplanes. Despite calls from many political leaders and a petition signed by 20,000 people to prevent the reversal of this law, Pistol says that permitting small knives through TSA will allow agents to focus more on bombs and threatening liquids. The changes are to take place on April 25th, according to TSA spokesman David Castlevetter.
A woman has been killed and a man hospitalized after a police chase in Iowa this past Sunday. Police started chasing driver Melissa Sue Toilion and passenger Justin Formaro after a store robbery in Pleasant Hill this morning. The car was spotted but sped off until the car flipped and crashed into a power pole. The incident is still under investigation.
At 8:45 a.m. this Monday morning, 3 Navy crew members died when their EA-6B Prowler crashed. The crash was approximately 50 miles west of Spokane, Washington. The crew was on a training flight leaving from the Naval Air station in Whidley Island in northwest of Washington. The Navy says that the crash is under investigation.
Coming up next, the Cardinal electors will be getting together tomorrow to choose the church's next leader.
And we will have your full sports update. But first, here's a look at your late night menu.
We are the Tigers from Heaven 885. And you are watching WTOP. Yeah.
Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Attention all you men out there, ever needed to know how to boost up your confidence when talking to the ladies? Sam Berman has all you need to know.
Thanks, Shanna. If you don't quite have the guts to talk to or even approach women, this next segment on How to Get Game with Sam is just for you.
Like me and don't necessarily have those Brad Pitt looks, and you spend night and day doing everything in your power to try and change that, well, I'm sorry, but you're doing something wrong. You don't necessarily need a six-pack, flowy hair, or that bright smile to woo girls or really be attractive. What you do need is confidence. As simple as that may sound, building confidence is a little bit harder than it may seem if you're not taking the right steps to do so. Tonight, I'm going to show you 3 easy steps to build your confidence when trying to attract women. Step number 1 is believing in yourself. If you believe that you're attractive, so will they. If you can convey that you believe you are attractive using your body language, then you can convince girls subconsciously that you actually are attractive. But here's the trick. If you believe you're ugly, then you will also convey that through your body language, convincing girls that you are unattractive. So the key is to always believe you are attractive. So by standing tall and sounding confident in your voice, you too can attract women. This brings us to our second step, being confident in your walk. This is simple. By taking long strides, having your chin up, and being dominant and not submissive while you're walking, you'll actually be able to convey to people that you are dominant. So by doing this, when you're walking, instead of you having to move out of the way for people, people will actually start to move out of the way for you. I'm going to demonstrate the walk for you right now. So I'm going to demonstrate the walk real quick. So a bad walk would technically be like this. If you have your feet close, long strides, chin down, looking where you walk because you don't trust yourself when you're walking. So you think you're going to trip, so instead of looking up, you're looking down and your hands are kind of swaying. There's no confidence in your posture. Now I'm going to show you the right way. You want to have your head straight, like you're being pulled up by a string. Your back straight. Everything just has to be straight, and you want to take longer strides. Walk and look up, and don't be afraid of what's on the ground. Have trust in your walk. Have trust in yourself. Step number 3 is simple. Dress sharp. If you dress sharp, you will feel comfortable in your body, and you will believe that you're attractive. Hence, Like the first step, if you believe you're attractive, they will believe you're attractive. If you're wearing attractive clothes, you will not only look attractive, but you will also believe you are attractive.
I think you're onto something there, Sam.
Yeah, well, I'm trying.
Good job.
I'll remember some of those tricks too.
Yeah, you definitely should. Yeah. Definitely.
Thanks, Sam. Countdown to the conclave. Roman Catholic cardinals from around the world meet today for the last time before they get down to voting. Tomorrow, the 115 cardinal electors, who will choose the church's next leader, will hold their first vote, but it probably won't be the last.
If 2/3 of the conclave agrees, White Smoke will announce that there is a new pope. CNN's Miguel Marquez reports from Vatican City.
At the Vatican, the chimney that will announce to the world whether there's a new pope, is placed atop the treasured 500-year-old Sistine Chapel. It is delicate work, upholding a tradition where white smoke billowing from the chimney signals a new pope has been named.
The last thing they want is for the Sistine Chapel to turn into a smoke-filled room.
It is, after all, where Michelangelo applied his hand. A specialized stove and chemicals to enhance the smoke's color goes along with the chimney. It does take time for the smoke to go from gray to either white or black.
One of the bits of drama about a conclave is that the Catholic Church normally is a highly scripted, imminently predictable enterprise. You know exactly what is going to happen and you know when it's going to happen. But with a conclave, in a sense, all bets are off.
The conclave, their decision shrouded in secrecy and tradition, and some modern twists. Electronic jamming equipment ensures no one inside or outside the conclave knows the result before it's ready to be announced.
I'm ready to go home. I ran out of socks.
The frontrunners out in force in Rome. There's Cardinal Odilo Scherer of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Could he be the first pope from the New World? One of the frontrunners, Cardinal Angelo Scola of Milan, Italy, said Mass at Rome's Church of the 12 Apostles. And there's one of the dark horse candidates, Boston's Sean O'Malley. Could he be the first American pope?
Let us pray that the Holy Spirit illumine the Church to choose a new pope who will confirm us in our faith and make more visible the law of the Good Shepherd.
The public politicking nearly over. Once the conclave starts, the cardinals go into deep seclusion until a decision is made.
And now a full look at sports with Lionel Sterling.
Yo, Oswego State forward Hayden Ward out of Montauk, New York, the SUNYAC Player of the Year, has been selected as the East Region representative eligible to be voted to the 2013 Reese's Division III College All-Star Game. Fans are able to choose from a list with the top senior student athlete in each of the 8 Division III regions whose teams are no longer participating in the NCAA tournament. The top 2 vote-getters will join 16 other seniors, 2 from each region, who are selected by a committee vote for a total of 9 student athletes per side. Voting will take place on the front page of d3hoops.com starting at noon Eastern Time on Monday, March 11th, and runs through noon Eastern Time on Wednesday, March 13th. The Oswego State women's lacrosse team suffered a 16-5 loss this afternoon in Rochester. The Lakers scored early with a goal from freshman Ernan Shattuck 1 minute and 12 seconds into the game. The Lakers maintained their lead until 6 minutes when RIT's critical run kicked in and sparked an 11-1 lead going into halftime. The Lakers struggled with turnovers in the opening half, committing a whopping 20. The second half was a closer affair, but by then it was too little too late for Oswego, who netted 4 goals in the second half. Oswego looks to bounce back and recuperate before traveling to play Houghton on Wednesday at 4 p.m. After Syracuse's embarrassing 16-39 loss to Georgetown on Saturday, the Orange only slipped to number 19 as the AP poll was released on Monday. Many believe that they would have been dropped out of the top 25 completely. Syracuse has lost 4 of its last 5 games, those 4 coming against Georgetown twice, Louisville, and Marquette, all of which are ranked in the top 12 of this week's poll at least. What's in store next for 'Cuse during the NCAA tourney is anyone's guess, but the way the Orange have been playing as of late has many fans worried about the remainder of the season, for good reason. Wide receiver Anquan Boldin has been traded from the Super Bowl winning Baltimore Ravens to the Super Bowl losing San Francisco 49ers for a 6th-round pick. The Ravens have reportedly asked Boldin to take a pay cut to help with the team and its salary cap situation, but Boldin simply stated on Saturday he was unwilling to slash his salary in order to stay with the team, citing principles. Maybe paying Joe Flacco $120 million, but I'm not going to say. The Minnesota Vikings have agreed to trade wide receiver Percy Harvin to the Seattle Seahawks. The trade is expected to include the Seahawks' 2013 first-round draft choice being sent to the Vikings. The trade is also contingent on Harvin agreeing to a new contract, which is expected to be finalized within the next 48 hours. Oh, see, now this clip is something I've been waiting to talk about with you guys. Yesterday, DeAndre Jordan straight baptized Brandon Knight on the court. And I believe we have a clip of said baptize happening on an NBA floor. Normal Clippers play, lob. Oh my goodness, that's another grown man DeAndre Jordan just did that to. Another human being on the floor being scraped off the floor by his teammates. Once the kids are going nuts, you just lose this crowd. You know it's done. DeAndre Jordan just knows he committed murder on the basketball court. It's completely bananas. If that's not dunk of the year up to now, it's completely wrong. But that's it for sports. Now back over to the news desk.
Coming up, we'll take a look at the lighter side of the news.
And we will take a look at the final week's weather forecast. Stay tuned.
We are the Tigers from Pet 885. And you are watching WTOP. Yeah.
Oswego MBA program, helping you achieve your goals with a customized curriculum developed with flexibility in mind. Take classes year-round, full or part-time in Oswego, online or at the Metro Center in downtown Syracuse. More information is available online or by calling 315-312-2911.
Welcome back to WTOP 10. Despite rumors circulating this weekend, The View host Elizabeth Hasselbeck will not be leaving this morning talk show. These rumors stem from Joy Behar's announcement that she will be leaving The View after 16 years. Barbara Walters addressed both pieces of news after her own 6-week hiatus recovering from the chickenpox and a concussion. She also reassured fans that she will not be leaving the show either.
E.L. James, author of 50 Shades of Grey, will release a new book on May 1st. The new project is titled 50 Shades of Grey, Inner Goddess. The journal will have advice for readers and aspiring writers to help them release their inner goddess. The trilogy has sold over 70 million copies worldwide. I'm sure avid readers are ready for the new edition.
And before we say goodnight, here's one final look at your forecast with meteorologist Ryan Farrell.
Big change for tomorrow. We're going to start out with rain in the afternoon. Temperatures dropping through the 30s.